recording. It's being recorded for training purposes. And maybe I do know that there are a number of members who can't make it, but they love to see what's going on. And I think Magda have piqued their interest in terms of what she's doing and what Jacinta is also doing. And not to mention that we got Antoinette doing her first speech at our club, and Asil with her presentation also. With that, I will turn our time to our Toastmaster today, Nick.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. It gives me great pleasure to welcome everybody to this Saturday, 30th of March, Speech-a-thon. Today, we're going to be quick, we're going to be insightful, we're going to be absolutely stunning, all of us. So just enjoy it. We've got a really packed schedule. What we're going to do is we're going to have speakers 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to have evaluators 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to have speaker 4, and then the evaluations for speaker 4. We have 2 timers. They're up to speed. Everybody knows what they're doing. And so just be ready for your slot, all speakers. You have 15 seconds before the start of the next speaker. Main thing is just look in the camera and have fun, okay? Now, we're going to start with speaker number 1. Today, Asil will present a level 3 project in the presentation mastery path. The project is Know Your Sense of Humor, which is one of the newer electives in Pathways. The intention of the speech is to help the audience put themselves into the shoes of their customers. With a speech title of Customer Service, please welcome Asil Boishanova.
Customer service plays a vital role in our lives. Good customer service means helping customers efficiently in a friendly manner. It is essential to be able to handle issues for customers and to do your best service to ensure that they're satisfied. They should remember to put themselves in other people's shoes to understand their point of view. So this reply to the complaint letter is a good example. Dear customer relations, viscous and feline eating disorders. I have a cat named Nala. I'd rather have a dog, but cats bury their own poo in the garden, usually someone else's, which is a lot better than picking up smelly poos and putting them in a bin. She's named after the lioness in The Lion King. She doesn't look like a lion. In fact, she looks like a tiger that shrunk in the wash because she's small and stripy. She also likes Whiskas oh so meaty in jelly. In fact, she likes Whiskas so much that she gets very stroppy when we give her crunchy cat food, which the vet says we have to on account of her gum disease. Her favorite Whiskas is the poultry selection. She doesn't like the oh so fishy ones, probably because we live a long way from the sea. Anyway, I am beginning to get a little worried about Nala because she keeps being sick after she has eaten her Whiskas. Unfortunately, she seems to prefer to throw up in the house instead of in other people's garden. I don't like particularly the smell or look of Whiskas when it's fresh from the pouch. when it's been inside the cat for 10 minutes, it's not nice at all. I think she's displaying a lot of the classic symptoms of bulimia. I have looked up bulimia on the NHS website, and it says that the low self-esteem could be a major problem. Nala is much smaller than all the other cats in the neighborhood, and her tummy is a bit saggy since she had kittens when she was very young. I suspect she's being bullied. She's also adopted. She was over a year when she came to us, so perhaps she's insecure. As you are clearly very expert in the area of feline nutrition, I was hoping you might be able to offer some advice. Yours hopefully, Anthony. Dear Anthony, thanks for getting in touch about our viscous products. Naturally, this concerns us, and we would like to bring to the attention of our quality control managers. If you have retained any pouches from the batch in question, could you please return them for the examination? We will then be able to respond to your complaint more thoroughly. Regarding Nala's other issues, there are many reasons why cats will vomit, such as eating their food too quickly, such as eating something odd while out toileting in other people's garden, or even if they don't particularly like your carpet. Low self-esteem is not usually a big problem for cats. It is usually quite the opposite. So I could rule out bulimia as a cause. It is possible that she's anxious about her adoption. So perhaps you could give her access to your internet, and she could trace your relatives that way instead. Maybe she would like to live closer to the sea. So you could always sell up and move to see if that makes difference. It would also solve her issues with your carpet. I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions, if you need any help or advice, please let us know. Yours sincerely, Consumer Care Team. Yes, this is a funny letter, and the author made it up. But the point is that the Consumer Care Team put themselves in Anthony's shoes, and they did all their best to serve them, to Anthony. So in Toastmasters, we're also customers, and our product is giving speeches. If you are delivering the great value to your audience and putting yourself in their shoes by asking, what kind of speeches do they want to hear? How do they want to be entertained or informed? Then you are all but guaranteeing own success. And of course, everything is better when you can smile and laugh. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Asil. Thank you. When I have a feline problem, I know where to go to. Thank you. Magda, you're up next. This speech format is going to be from the Innovative Planning Level 1 Evaluation and Feedback First Speech. The speech format is that of Pecha Kucha. It is always a slide presentation. There are 20 slides and the timing is set for 20 seconds per slide that will run automatically. The idea is to produce and deliver short, sharp presentations on any topic. Many karaoke bars are changing over to Pecha Kucha because it's more fun and more entertaining to have the visuals with the audio and, of course, the performance of the speaker. With a speech titled Short End of the Stick, please welcome Magda von Rooyen.
Woohoo! It's going to take me a minute to, well, not quite a minute, a couple of seconds to set up. So bear with me. I need to click a couple of things here. Once I start this first slide, it will just all automatically happen. First, I need to go to slideshow, I think. Yes, that's right. People often think that they've got the short end of the stick when it comes to public speaking, meaning as far as talents go, they've got the worst end of the bargain. I'm going to test your perceptions. I will pose alternatives. And lastly, I'm going to share the collective ablaze mindset. This is your first test. Exactly where is the short end of the stick? It's perfect when you want to make a slingshot. Others use it to allocate unseen underground water. You may also have some hidden talents and skills. A natural talent is rare. Let me show you some of your perceptions. At times, we all ache to blend in. It's a massive need. Yet part of you is shouting, stand out and make a good impression. But your own perceptions could hinder you. What if you say the wrong thing, or your joke is not acceptable? Or you can concentrate on your exterior, your blemishes, your hair, that pimple, clothing that's not portraying the professional image you want. Several of you are now at this very moment checking your own image on the screen instead of looking at me, because looking good is part of our core. How do you feel about exposing your core? Telling your stories to others, expose your essence to the outside world. We know it will only happen when you can trust the group. Or what if you, like me, of a certain age, wondering and pondering, not ready to retire, and thinking that you are like these old dried out sticks, ready to become a burnt offering. And yes, I do mean ready for the crematorium, because you think you're too old for this and far too old for that. When I started at Toastmasters, I thought they were going to say, oh, another silverhead, or please, not another baby boomer. Whatever your age, we change thorny perceptions. By now, you've heard all about the pros and cons of pathways. We just do it. All of us, if the silver foxes can do it, so can you. We swing that imaginary stick and we flip it. We clear the fear and steer you in the right direction. Slowly your stress hormones lower and your feel-good hormone, oxytocin, kicks in and you're ready to learn new things and also to let go. I bet after this presentation, you will notice that gnarly trees are the ones that are featuring in oil paintings. We know every member's got some gnarly stuff stored away. Fact is, your previous negative experiences are sources of great stories, and you will learn to overcome, and it's all about growth. Underneath our exteriors and cultural differences, we all have the same longings, hopes, and dreams. We are united in three things: our Toastmasters values, to set us up for success and to do what unsuccessful people won't. I will tell you how. The secret is simple. It is nurturing relationships. We are not that different to plants. We also need certain things. We need to know and feel that we matter. When you Google it, you will learn that being socially connected protects the brain against the risk of dementia. Development of the brain is so important. Sticks develop in a certain way, produces more fruit. And development happens through our conversations and how we can help our club. Our club is a nursery for creative thinking, and our growth hormones are so potent. It leads to snip, 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 a bit of pruning. We see so-called mistakes as a learning opportunity, and we toss ideas around and we snip away until we get excellent fruit. It is an ongoing process of incremental improvement. Public speaking, you do it with growth and with snips. We recycle the extra growth. Those pruned away to twigs, your mentor can still find something of value. For example, you might find another speech topic in there for some time in the future. There's no short end of the stick. Our club is a slingshot for fast movers and a discovery rod for others. Our motto is, put your heart in your art, meaning it is boring to tell us how important you are. Public speaking is about your commitment to your client, if you've got one, and then to your audience. And put your heart in this. Why else would they pay you or even listen to you? Some sticks become unmoving trunks, set in their ways, and they shout to the heavens about the ever-changing circumstances. And this club change is part of the fun. We know that we will be valued for trying something new, like with this presentation today. For this reason, time to mature as a speaker is really important. You don't have to be perfect, but your speech better be good. And the formula is simple. Contents first. The better the contents, the better the reception and perception and enjoyment of all. Delivery is a second pager. If you do, from a gnarly old stick, new life can sprout from whichever end. Many have seen their Toastmaster revel in the achievement of their protégés. And in the process, we all sprout and flower as well. If you've got a spirit of innovation and a drive to succeed, you will. As we connect, interlocked, and support each other, we can all bear fruit. We help our members, if they so choose, who are becoming or who already are public speakers, to achieve more. Sticks become magic wands to create a symphony of life, like this tree that I'm going to show you. 40 different stone fruits is crafted here by Sam van Eycken. From a stick to a tree, this is our image of you and our club. You can achieve this in your life, your work, your public speaking. And here's the secret. There is no short end of the stick. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Magda. Very well done. And for those who didn't actually catch the beginning, that was 20 slides, 20 seconds automatically. So that's excellent work. Well done. Our next speaker is going to be Antoinette. Please get ready, Antoinette. Antoinette Trim is doing the Motivational Strategies Level 1 Icebreaker. She's going to speak about her academic career. So, with a big smile, take a deep breath, and a speech titled, How Did I Get Here? Please welcome Antoinette Trim.
I now remember. This thing happened so many years ago, in the 1980s. I wanted to become a pharmacist, just like my mom. My journey began where I attended John Donaldson Technical Institute to pursue a science technician program, which I did. And after, to enter into the St. Augustine, enter into the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus to study pharmacology. However, I decided, I think I want to work. So I eventually got a job with the National Insurance Board as a clerical assistant. But of course, during my tenure there, in terms of wanting to become a pharmacist, that waned. And I eventually went on to the School of Business and Computer Studies to study computer. I worked at National Insurance Board for 7 years in Trinidad. However, in the 6th year, which was in 1993, I knew I was getting married to a Tobagonian. And as usual, Tobagonians hardly want to move to Trinidad. And so I made several requests to the management team for me to get the transfer from Trinidad to Tobago. They were only dancing me around. They were wavering in their response. Eventually, I decided to also go ahead with my wedding plans, and I got married on the 30th of April, 1994. My husband and I lived apart for the first 3 months, after which I got fed up and I tendered my resignation at National Insurance Board to move to live in Tobago. Not long after I moved to Tobago, I got a job at Mount Irving Bay Hotel. I worked there rather for a period of 9 months. And then I got a job at Republic Bank as a cashier in July of 1995. By this time, my quest for knowledge directed me in the field of secretariatship. And I also did speed writing, typewriting, and eventually I went on to do psychology in another tertiary institution in Tobago. After completing the associate in psychology, I decided that I would want to pursue my master's in psychology, which I did, with an online university in England, University of Roehampton. Ever since, I always had a determined spirit and a measure of discipline, which I mostly gained from my upbringing and my spiritual walk with God. Over the years, I've been successful in masters in psychology. What I did not tell you, at first, my dream by this time, amended from the 1980s, was to attain a certain level of scholastic accomplishment. How did I get here? From the scheme of things, it looks now that my dream of becoming a pharmacist was toasted by psychology. My new fad now is to obtain some public speaking skills, as well as some motivational strategies, so as to better equip me to become a part-time lecturer at any tertiary institution on the island. I'm still at Republic Bank as an administrative professional secretary. Fellow Toastmasters, here I am, now starting my Pathways journey, not only presentation mastery, with Tobago professional speakers and motivational strategies with online presenters. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. Excellent. What I really like about the icebreaker is that, you can't actually take anything out of that. It's just you. We just heard about you, and that's really authentic, straight from the heart, and very engaging. Thank you, Antoinette. Great job. Well done.
Okay.
That's the first part, for the first segment of the meeting complete. Those are the first 3 speakers. Very different, very engaging, very good. Now we're going to go for the actual first 3 evaluators. And in turn, that's going to be Elaine, Roger, and Krishan. So, to evaluate Asil's speech, I'd like to welcome to the virtual lectern Elaine Nieberding.
I want to congratulate Asil on her fine speech addressing customer service experiences in a very humorous way. And I particularly want to mention how I see her growth in excelling in this use of using a background along with her continuing presence on the screen so that we can see her completely present, not just as a side picture, feel her involvement and engagement with the audience, but provide helpful and well-chosen pictorials that go along with her speech. She is doing an excellent job at doing that. She also does an excellent job of pacing herself for her content over the length of her speech. Because she has an accent, because English is not her first language, she is careful to pace herself so that we can understand her language well. So that's really excellent, and I see her continuing to grow and improve in confidence in doing that. She was well framed. She used gestures with her hands a little bit from time to time. Now, because I was anticipating a speech with anecdotes that were her personal experience, and now she was putting it in a letter, I got curious. Did she own a cat? Were some of these experiences coming up that were part of her own experiences? We didn't know that. But she also excelled at starting out talking about putting oneself, a customer service person, in the place of the customer to respond well. And then she ended her speech tying that back into the Toastmaster experience. So that was a really good way of bringing helpful engagement into the topic and bringing the value forth to us as Toastmasters. Now, one of the things I will challenge her to do on a future speech is thinking about making an eyebrow-raising title. Even if she had said customer service in this speech with an exclamation point or 3 question marks and it would have made me say, what's this going to be about? Or if there were a few more letters. Sometimes that is a wonderful way to really get the audience engaged early on. So that would be my challenge to her. Another thing I could say to Asil is she is constantly very happy and balanced, but given that we were talking about this experience of a complaint and a concern letter from from a customer to a company, perhaps that could have been a little bit more dynamic with vocal variety. Great speech, Asil. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Elaine. Thank you very much for that. Our second evaluator tonight, evaluating Magda's speech, please welcome Roger Fung.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Magda, 2 words that comes to mind when I think about your whole speech, and that is command and control, in a good way. I'll come back to that later. First, a suggestion. My suggestion to you is work a little bit more on your bookends of opening and closing. For example, when you open, I know this is a different type of speech and you wanted to kind of set things up. That could have been done, or with what Nick is saying with the Toastmaster, so that when you first start, you can go right into it. Could have cut back a little bit of the time. And also at the end, when you close it, there is that question mark. Is she done? Is that the blank space? So on and so forth. And it's almost like, hey, there's this great speech coming up, and it's been building up. I felt like there's a little drop because of that ending. So I think if you can wrap those bookends a little bit better, it will lift up your whole speech. And a smaller suggestion, kind of my suggestion 1.5, is that you have a lot of images throughout. And I know this is the main issue or the main feature of your speech. I wonder if every now and then a certain text may help. That may be just a one word or not, but that may be outside of the realm of the Picha Kucha. So therefore, it may be a non-issue for that particular format. Now, you've done very well. The reason why I think it is about command and control is that you made your slides, your presentation, completely second nature to what you have to say. There's no point that I felt like you're chasing after the slides or the slides are chasing after you. You were perfectly in sync. You're very well prepared. It's almost as if your voice and your slides are merged together. It is completely in sync. It's become like a second nature. I don't know if you did this purposefully, but a number of your slides have the far right-hand side with more space. Now, I don't know if that's because you want to match up with Zoom and the people's thumbnail, that may be, but I think that's very well done. Your voice, your vocal variety, and at times when you want to give that accent, you want to give that little twist, very well done in that regard. And your voice, to me, comes through very smoothly. There's nothing harsh. It goes right into my mind. I'm like being dragged wherever you want to drag me throughout that speech. So in summary, your preparation in your slides and the way you present it, I believe it matches very well together. I think you've done wonderful work within that Picha Kucha's format. If you can wrap up your ending a little bit more in the bookend, I think will make this a little bit even more powerful. With that said, you are great at presenting what you want to present. You have to control exactly where you want the audience to arrive at. Good job, Magda. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you for that. Excellent. Our third evaluator, evaluating Antoinette's icebreaker, all the way from Mauritius, please welcome Krishan Ramchern.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, and Antoinette. Wow, what a journey, what a life from Trinidad to Tobago. Antoinette, as I was listening to you, I realized that I messed up because I also tried to do online studies as in a master's course with the university, not Wolverhampton, but it was another one, and I did not succeed. So kudos to that, and thank you for sharing that story. Antoinette, as you started, you were living your story, and I want to share with the audience before I move on. Antoinette asked me to deliver not a comfortable, but more of a harsh evaluation. So here goes everything. So Antoinette, as I was listening to you, I heard the stories as you were moving from your place of birth, where you wanted to grow, where you wanted to be, to follow your husband to another place. And as you were sharing that story, you also were at times looking down. I'm guessing you were looking at your notes. Now, here are my first two recommendations for you, Antoinette. You're telling me your life story. I'm expecting you not to need to require notes because it's your life story. And then it's your life story. So at some point, I'm also looking forward to the emotions that comes in the tone and the poses. So as you were transitioning from the time where you worked to after 6 years of marriage to moving to Tobago, I was expecting to hear something like that. After my 6 year of marriage, I decided to resign, to put in my resignation. So that was the kind of mixture of tone and at times of poses, because you felt that you wanted to just complete the icebreaker. So those two things put together. Now, the second part of the recommendations is the eye contact. Just because I saw that you were reading, you also forgot about me, you forgot about looking at the camera. So second recommendation here is have in mind that we need to have eye contact in the online environment. Look at the little white dot or red dot at your screen. And to help you, you can have your notes, you can post it next to your camera, or you can even type it in a Word document and put it there. Not the whole speech, but put like cues, put like bullet forms, in bullet format, if that really helps. Now, Antoinette, you did something very nice, and I wanted to hear more of that. You were using rhetorical devices. You had, with your management in Trinidad, they were dancing around. That was a good use of a hyperbole. Then you also had my dream to become a pharmacist was toasted by psychology. That was a good use of exaggeration there, another good rhetorical device. And this is where my third recommendation kicks in. You could have used so many, you had so many instances to be humorous, to be emotional, to be even sarcastic with your own life experience, because that's what I want to hear. What's a life experience? What's a lesson for me? Because you also had another thing, the title of your speech. How did I get here? And you told me that you got here at the end of your speech. So my fourth recommendation, Antoinette, is when I want to use my title, and when I have a title which is awesome, how did I get here? I'm expecting to have that included from the start, distilled as I'm going along, and then impacted again at the end. But it was such an awesome delivery, Antoinette. I really look forward to your next speech. In summary, if you put together the vocal recommendations, the physical presence recommendations, you keep using the rhetorical devices, you have the emotions, I'm sure your next speech is going to rock the floor. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Christian. Thank you. Excellent. We're now going to come to our third segment of the night, and that's going to be speech number 4. Okay, so Jacinta, please get ready. In advance of that, can I just ask everybody to unmute yourself? Okay. And what we're going to do is, this is a particular project, and this is the Managing a Difficult Audience project at level 4 of Presentation Mastery. And there will be 4 difficult interrupters. So that's why I'm asking you all to unmute yourself. Okay. Right. Christian? Thank you. Okay. Dr. Watkins will be discussing how you can improve your quality of life in the comfort of your own home. She will be presenting from the Presentation Mastery Pathway, Level 4, Managing a Difficult Audience project, with a speech titled, Muscle Pain is No Fun. Please welcome Jacinta Watkins Lamontagne.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. How was everyone's week this week? By a show of hands, did anyone have a long, arduous week? Muscles maybe feeling a little bit sore, painful, just had a really long week?
Not me.
Too. My hands up also. Muscle pain is no fun. Often, muscle pain can be very debilitating and can make you not want to participate in the activities that you enjoy doing, like spending time with your family and having a wonderful time just doing different activities. My fellow Toastmasters, today is your lucky day. We're going to discuss what are some activities that you may be doing to cause muscle pain. And we will also be discussing what
maybe
tips you can
killing
do
that
at
chicken.
home to tell and have and address those issues. I know Elaine, it seemed like Elaine had a question that she wanted to ask. Did you have a question, Elaine?
Who can kill the chicken?
No.
please?
I don't have muscle pain. When I do, I take ibuprofen.
I think that is definitely something that can be used. I will let you know on the secret, we are going to have a question and answer session at the
but boy, did I have a bad root canal.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't quite muscle pain, but yeah, then I really learned how ibuprofen worked.
That sounds very humorous and interesting. But I believe Magda had another question. But I do want to make sure everyone knows that we will have a question and answer session at the end. Magda, did you have something?
No, I just wanted someone to kill that rooster.
Oh, the poor
Yes.
rooster. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a bit disturbing.
Well, hopefully the rooster will make it out alive within the next 15 minutes. All right. We're going to discuss muscle pain, what causes muscle pain, activities you can do in the comfort of your own home to improve the quality of life for yourself, and question and answer, as I mentioned a few moments ago. What are some of the activities that can cause muscle pain? Well, one of the causes of muscle pain can be just your everyday activities. How many of us have jobs that are working or not working? Doesn't matter. Sitting at your computer all day long can cause muscle pain. Yes. Also, standing on your feet all day can cause muscle pain. Answering the phone with your neck turned this way to the side and while you're trying to type at the same time, that can all cause muscle pain as well. Prolonged static postures are postures that occur when your muscles are in a state of constant contraction for a little too long. When the muscles stay that way, there are areas in your body that form as very small knots that can cause a lot of pain. Normally, the blood should flow through to those muscles and provide oxygen and nutrients like a river. But when the muscles are very contracted, the blood cannot flow to those areas. What happens? Trigger points. Trigger points are very, very painful. They are very small, hyper-irritable areas inside of your body that can elicit an extreme amount of pain when touched. Often, you may have a trigger point, or you may be feeling some discomfort in your upper back. Believe it or not, that trigger point could be coming from your upper chest. Who knew? That's what happens with trigger points.
Come on.
Yes.
It's all
Nick,
about
I'm sorry. Did you
how
have something
fit-
you wanted to say?
It's all about how fit somebody is. If you're unfit, you're gonna get pain everywhere. It's the truth. If you're
Hey,
fit,
Nick,
like me,
I bet that's your
it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Honestly, you're fit and toned. What you have is you treat your body like a temple, and you have no problems. You have no neck ache or wrist ache or bum ache or anything. I can't see.
Wow.
Nick,
I think that,
Come
on,
honestly, and I
Come on,
appreciate
Nick.
you mentioning
Speak
that,
that
because
Bummy.
that is an excellent, excellent topic. And I will tell you, I agree with you. Taking care of your body and
Oh, why are
treating
you
it like
saying
a
that then?
temple is exactly what needs to be done. But there's other aspects of muscle pain that can be caused even if you are very fit. Elaine, did you have something you needed to say?
No, I just thought Nick was being obnoxious.
Oh, okay. Well, his point was valid. I would say is a very valid point. But that's about trigger points, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he triggered me today.
Okay. Well, I have some tools for you that may help you, and you are in the comfort of your own home, to get rid of that trigger.
What about heartbreak? That's painful.
Oh, heartbreak is very, very painful. Yes, Nicole, it is so very painful. The good thing is there's tools that we can use to address the physical aspect. The emotional aspect, that takes a bit more deeping and discovering, which we may not have time to talk about today.
Do you have an outline? Where are we in this talk?
So, from the beginning,
I was thinking for sure there'd be a PowerPoint with this program.
If Elaine is triggering you, I can drop her out of the call very quickly. Just one click and she's out of here.
Oh, no, Elaine. So I'm going to briefly summarize what we discussed at the beginning of our conversation. We're going to discuss what causes muscle pain, the activities and trigger points. And we're going to be discussing the activities and the different types of tools you can use to help you there, and have questions and answers. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen, almost there. Thank you, Roger. I don't think I need to have Elaine dropped at this time. there's different ways you can address muscle pain. You can see a licensed massage therapist. That's one aspect that may become costly over time. So there's tips that you can do and techniques you can use in the comfort of your own home. Are you ready? The first is if you really want to address muscle pain and enjoy spending time with your family and not feeling like you are in just a really bad place, I would invest in this book. This book is called the Trigger Point Workbook. It has literally every area inside of your body. Oh, I'm sorry, Kristen. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm already having muscle pain. Why do I now want to have mind pain or brain pain? It's like it's just too much. Why not just use a yoga roller or like a sauna, something like that? Why do I need to read now?
Yes. Well, Kristen, you must have telepathic powers because you are reading my mind. The book actually tells you there's some places where you think you're having pain. It actually can elicit pain in other places. Remember, you may have pain in your upper back. It could be coming from your chest. Didn't know that. So now we're going to talk about the fun part. We have what's called a back knobber. This has a very small point and it has a very large point. This can be placed on different parts of your body to help address those really sore areas there. The key to addressing trigger points is to compress those areas for at least 10 seconds and then release. You will start to feel that blood flow through the body like a river and feel more energized in terms of what you're doing. Now, the second, before I continue, I do have to say this is a disclaimer. Please consult your primary care physician before you start any new exercise routine. Would be a foam roller, Christian. I have a foam roller. The foam roller is something that is used for very large muscle groups. It can actually help to relieve those areas. What do? The foam roller lays on the floor. You can roll it against your muscles, and it helps to release. Keep in mind, if you've never used a foam roller or any type of device to address trigger points, it's going to hurt. It will hurt. But the more you do it, the more you will feel better. One more device is called a trigger point ball. This is actually used to place on your upper back, and you can lean it against the wall. It sounds like Elaine has had some experience with the trigger point ball. Do you want to share that for 5 seconds?
No. When you got out that foam thing, it reminded me of what's in my garage from when I had a massage table and how I could be using that under my back when I have uncomfort sleeping at night. So it was.
I would say, thank you. Well, be very careful because you don't want to fall off the table. You may want to have something.
Oh, no. I just, it was just helpful to see the foam cushion because I have something like that, and it will be helpful for my comfort. So
okay.
Yeah, it was just, and I'm sorry. I guess I was talking out loud. Sorry.
Thank you for letting us know that. Let us know how that works out for you. So trigger point ball can be used also to compress those areas. One last thing, ladies and gentlemen, is an arm aid. Now, this is helpful for all of us because all of us use a computer like we are right now. The arm aid is basically devised to where you can put your arm through it and you roll your hands, and it helps to massage those areas to work through those trigger points so that you're not in so much discomfort. We've discussed some of the activities that can cause muscle pain because muscle pain is no fun. We discussed it at the very beginning. There are several different tricks and techniques that can be used to address muscle pain that I've had the opportunity to show you, and really appreciate your candid feedback because you've given me some insight and given us all insight as well. I'd like to open it up for questions and answers depending on how much time we have based on what Elaine has to say.
We're about 15 seconds shy of 11 minutes.
Okay.
Green. We have lots of time. We have 4 minutes.
Okay. Wonderful. Does anyone have any questions? And Elaine, please keep us on time. I'd like to finish so that we all can have some fun working on our trigger points. Anyone have any questions?
That last device of yours looked very kinky to me. Please lift it up again.
Okay. It does look kind of weird.
I thought the first one was kinky.
Well, we'll go with the first one, the last one first, just for Magda. Okay, this is an arm aid. This helps to work.
Really, for an arm?
It is, yes. So what happens, my chair is a little low, but literally your arm goes through, right? I'm going to show you to the side here. And you actually close this area and your arm kind of rolls through. There's a big orange ball here on the side that helps to compress those areas. As I mentioned, it's going to feel tender when you go through initially. It's going to hurt. But the more you do it, the more your muscles will start to have that blood flowing through it like a river. The second,
I can think about other things that I can put in there, but don't worry, we won't go there for the moment.
sounds good to me. I think it's an excellent idea to keep it PG.
Yeah, like having a mammogram.
Oh, well, I suppose. Any other questions that anyone has? No one has any other questions? Questions about cost, how much these are, anything like that?
Yeah, where do you store that thing that you've got in your hand?
Actually, this, believe it or not, I literally can take it apart in 2 pieces.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It actually goes in my closet so that my toddler does not destroy it.
Okay.
Because she will.
So I do have one question.
Yes.
What's your views about muscle stimulators? You know, like those electrical patches that you can put on specific parts. Would they help with relieving muscle pain, or just do the opposite?
They do help with muscle pain. I've actually used that I've used that myself when I was in a vehicle accident, and I think when you have very serious, like acute problems, like there's a damage, it can really be helpful for that. The muscle, some of the devices I mentioned and showed earlier are really helpful for more just like chronic issues that you're having. But yes, those devices can be very helpful, like a TENS unit, something like that.
Thank you.
Any other
You've done
questions?
really well.
I think, is that yellow, Elaine?
That's yellow.
That's yellow? Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, I appreciate your insight, and I'm going to hand it back over to our fabulous Toastmaster of the day, Nick.
Thank you very much, Jacinta. Now, I've got to tell you, right, I'm not American, so I don't know whether it was a health professional or an adult entertainment consultant I was watching. But anyway, that's beside the point.
I wasn't going to go there, but Magda has to go there.
Look, hey, listen, where Magda goes, I follow. Jacinta, just for a minute, just tell us, how did you feel about the cockroaches crowing and all the noises, all the fast cars and motorbikes behind you and all the interruptions? How did that all feel to you?
It felt fine. I think you have to have a topic that you are very passionate about and are comfortable speaking about. If it was a speech about a project that I had to memorize, I would be in trouble, because it's hard for you to process, especially with everyone off mute, what's going on versus what was I supposed to say. So it needs to be a topic that was helpful. So for me, this is a speech I've done a couple of times. Actually, as you can tell, really do believe in what I use. I have to use it because my body hurts all the time. But it was fun. It was fun. You all made it very, very interesting and fun.
Well, thank you. It was fun and also relieving in many different ways. So brilliant. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around to everybody. I want your glows and grows. I want one thing that you thought was really fabulous and one way that you feel as though Jacinta can actually improve upon what she actually did. So I'm going to pick from random all the people on my screen. So first up, let's have Elaine. Everybody has 1 minute, okay?
Okay. I actually verbalized what I was curious about, and that was I could have followed the speech better actually with a PowerPoint. But I love the fact that you kept the stimulus going with the live tools. And of course, those were the things that we could additionally laugh at and think about as sex toys or whatever. It was fun. And it was a lot of fun just being in this role of having to do something different, like be obnoxious, chattering, and, So I was just pretending that, like I hadn't had good sleep last night and I was showing up, but I really wasn't interested and I wasn't, boundary that at all. So great experience on both ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Let's look at the next person. Asil, what did you think?
I haven't laughed like that for a long time with tears. I was looking at Elaine, you did a great job. Jacinta, I like your humor and that you continued asking questions, what? And then you continued that, you know, without any hesitation. That's great. So I love it. And your tools kind of look funny. And I'm interested in them, to use them. Thank you so much for this project. It was fun.
Thank you, Asil. Thank you for that. So our next person, let's have Antoinette. What did you think, Antoinette?
Jacinta gave me a new idea. Or instead of doing PowerPoint, you have live objects. So maybe later on in my local club, which is Tobago Professionals, because we don't have any way to do PowerPointing at Tobago Professionals. So if I can maybe use a live object, that is a very good prop. So thank you. Very good.
Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you for that. Let's have somebody else. Let's have a look at, let's have Rainey. Rainey, what did you think? Is Rainey there? Okay. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have Nicole. Nicole, are you there? Okay. Let's have Magda. What did you think, Magda?
Hi.
Oh, Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was
Hi.
double muted or triple muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. So give us a glow and a grow for Jacinta's speech, please.
A go and
A glow, something that you liked very much, and a grow, something that you think that you can even make it better.
oh, okay. What I liked was the way that she managed the audience. I liked that she didn't make anyone feel alienated, and she was she was kind to animals as well. That's a joke. All right. I guess in the club, maybe we don't mute people or sounds. In real life, I would have muted the rooster because you can kind of tell where the noise is coming from. So that way no one would be thinking about killing it. But it was perfect and wonderful and very, I mean, the things that you did actually can apply in my real life. So it was excellent.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for that. Well done. Magda, tell us what you thought.
Cinta, I don't know if the singing quality in your voice, if that is a normal thing of your accent, but I really enjoyed that. I thought you could put the speech to music and you can make a smashing hit out of it. I enjoyed your control throughout all the disruptions. And just for the audience's sake, I've got a very special soft spot for chickens. So I won't really kill a chicken. And how you can improve, it's not often that I say this, but it's one of the best of these interrupted speeches that I've ever seen and experienced. So I don't have a pointer for you to grow on. I think it was overall fantastic.
Thank you, Magda. Thank you for that. Well done. Christian, tell us what you thought.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So, Jacinta, thank you. I do agree that the foam roller is awesome as well. The glow for me was the audience that you had to work with. I think we overdid it because in real life, you wouldn't be getting such an awful audience. And you did that very well, especially with the witty banter, playing off some of your interrupters and getting the other people of the audience on your side. For me, that's how I saw it. So that was well done. The grow would be more of a question. It's a question that I also have to face at times. So when you have an interruptive, I'll take the case of Elaine, who is just coming back and just interrupting. Do you keep interacting with her, or because as you do that, for me, it's like empowering the interrupter and giving her more space to express herself? Or do you just tell her, I'll come back to you at the end? So it's more of a question because I don't have that answer. How do we deal with those kind of interrupters? Do we keep engaging them, or do we put them aside and tell them, we'll come back to you, or just say, listen, I'd love to help you, but you really need to hear about this. So those are like the questions that I would ask myself. But thank you for sharing. Muscle pain is a reality. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you for that. Now, Roger, what were your thoughts, please?
Yes, I want to address a few things specifically to Jacinta and also to the rest of us. I thought, number one, she at least she did not show in her facial expression that she was agitated in any way. So she looked like she's in control. And following up, piggyback what Christian is saying, hopefully this is just a beginning for everybody, not just in an audience, but a practice. Because when you're online, that's one kind of format where, let's suppose Jacinta and I, as the host, she could certainly type a private message to me and say, hey, shut off Nick, and then boom, I can shut him off. You can do that here. Now, what happens when you're in person, right? When you're in an in-person meeting, it's one thing to be in front of the stage with 100 people in front of you. That's one way to handling interruption, like White House correspondence, that kind of a thing. Or if you're in a small group where you actually can walk over and maybe put a hand on the shoulder of the person who is interrupting in some way of just kind of calm him or her down. Those are things that all depends on your context. So therefore, I'm encouraging everybody, this is a first start. Get more practice wherever you are, whether it be at church or at home, whatever. Then you can learn how to have all these different tools in that. But in terms of what Jacinta did, I thought she did very well. I think she's in control. I think the ending could be a little bit better in terms of, okay, now that you got the question, you're not hearing, maybe not waiting until the energy had weaned too much by wrapping it up, as I said in the beginning. This is what about muscle pain. Here's 3 things you could do, and back to you, and so that you can have a stronger wrap. That would be my one suggestion to her. All right, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you for that. I think I'll give my two pennies worth, if that's okay. I think in Britain we call it, when you were holding up the devices and all, we call it contraption interrupters, okay? So what happens is that you were showing the contraptions, and one of the things that I felt was that if you actually engaged just that little bit more, who has back pain? Who has pain in their shoulder, in their arm, because what you're doing is you're connecting that little bit more and say, for you, what I would do is put it on this way and then demonstrate it, because that's really powerful. Okay, that's really my only recommendation to you. Everything else, I thought you did fantastically well. You smiled, you took on people, and then you actually made people feel better whilst actually sitting them down in their seats, literally or figuratively. You actually were very calm and controlled, and you were never flustered. You took on board whatever they said. You actually mentioned what they were saying or how they were saying it, and then you actually took it back to them, and then you carried on. You didn't stop. I thought that was very admirable. I thought that you had the momentum, you had poise, you had, and as you said, you knew your business, you knew your stuff, and that really came across. So congratulations, well done. Thank you. Now, I believe we have had 4 speakers, 4 evaluations, and all that we've got to do is, have all the times been posted in the, yes, I believe all the times have been posted in the chat. Okay, I believe that all 3 segments of the meeting are complete. My job is done. I'm going to hand back to the presiding officer, Roger. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Nick. Wonderful job. A little bit of different experience. Hopefully, we're all learning from that process. I hereby go ahead and end our meeting officially.